everyone, my name is Becca and welcome to my N.E.W.T.S Readathon TBR. I haven't seen anybody that I follow post a TBR yet. I'm waiting. I've been waiting for so long for them to post it and they haven't. So I've just decided I'm going to do it. I feel like I'm the craziest person because out of the 36 prompts, I have 34 books next to me. Well, I have 34 books. I'm crazy. I want to try and do all 36. I'm insane. What can I do? So, if you don't know what the Owl's Magical Readathon was, that was the first part of this technically two-part readathon. The Owls, there's 12 subjects. There's a prompt for each. If you complete, so any of the Owls that you complete, you're able to go into the N.E.W.T.S and only do the ones that you have completed. So there's the same subjects, just 3 prompts for each subject. So the subjects that you have completed in the Owls are the ones that you can go into and participate in with the N.E.W.T.S. Does that make any sense? I'll link everything down below. Link all my updates, book roast. By the way, the readathon is hosted by Book Roast. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I've tried doing this video before. Somebody called me during it. I was so upset. So I'm redoing it. I was like 30 minutes in. Okay. So, technically I'm filming this really early. I'm not yet done with July, okay, so for the Owl's Magical Readathon, it was, Book Roast hosted it in April. So you could have done it in April. But if there's for some ever reason that you couldn't do it then, either you didn't know about it or you just didn't have the time to do it, a lot of us did it in July. Which we're almost done with July. I have like one more week and I have 3 books left and I'm in the middle of all of them. I'm still reading Seraphina, Tiger's Curse, and Forest of a Thousand Lanterns, Herbology, Divination, and Transfiguration. This is the only 3 subjects that I have, or owls that I have yet to complete. Once I do complete them, which I have a week, and again, I'm halfway through all of them, I'll be able to do it, no problem. I think I'll be able to do it within a couple of days. So far, as of right now, I can't do those 3 subjects. But again, before July ends, I'll be able to do it, no problem. So I have books for all the subjects, though I can only do 34 of 36 because there are 2 prompts that I just can't find anything to fit for, which I'm really upset by, but yeah. Okay, so let's just get on with this. Again, this is going to be really, really long. I have 34 books next to me, so if you haven't yet already done it, pause the video, go get a drink and snacks because you're probably going to need it. My videos normally go pretty long, so I'm thinking this is probably going to be like around 30 to 35 minutes. I won't go into synopsis for any of these books. I will just try and be as quick as I can with all of them. So, yeah. Is there anything I'm forgetting? For the Owl's Magical Readathon, to complete that readathon, technically, you don't have to do all 12 subjects. You didn't have to do all 12 prompts. That was just, like, a lot of us being crazy and insane and trying to push ourselves. Though then again, I thought I was crazy trying to do all 12 for that when I'm looking at this and I just am freaking out. But, my anxiety is just going through the roof right now. Let's see. To technically complete the Owl's Magical Readathon, you had to have read 5 books. So you only had to complete, technically you only had to complete 3 to get an acceptable. To get an exceeds expectations, you only had to read 4. And to get an outstanding, you could complete 5. That's technically how you complete that readathon. For N.E.W.T.S, she wants you to get an outstanding in 1 subject. So for each subject, there's 3 prompts, like I said. And each prompt is a different grade. So the first prompt is acceptable, the second is exceeds expectations, and the third is outstanding. So she wants you to complete 1 subject and to get an acceptable in another. So just read the first prompt, or read a book that fits the first prompt in another subject. So that's just a total of 4 books. You don't have to read 36. I don't even think Book Roast is doing 36, and she did 12 the last time. She completed all of the owls for her readathon. And I've just about completed all of them. But I want to be insane and go for all of it. I just want to push myself and see if I can do it. I have a lot of books here that, that I'm really interested in reading, that I just, like, a lot of them I got recently that I want to read. So, like, just to go over, like, stats really quick, I have 13 contemporary, 17 fantasy, and 4 sci-fi out of the 34. I have 24 in physical form. I have 4 that I can also do audio. I have 4 that I could also have. I have ebooks for as well, and 2 of them are manga. So, it shouldn't be so bad getting through a lot of them. Do I think I'm gonna get through all 34? 36 if I can find 2 books that fit those prompts? No, fuck no. If I do, I feel like I will not be reading again for the rest of the year. But I don't know. I'm insane. What can I say? Alright, so for the first subject, for acceptable, the first prompt, we have a book set in the past. And I chose The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. This is historical romance. I don't know when it's set, but it's historical romance, so it's got to be set sometime in the past. There. For Exceeds Expectations, the second prompt is to read a book that is to read the most ancient book on your shelves. I don't know exactly what the most ancient book on my shelves is. Like, I've had a lot of books that I haven't yet read that I bought a long time ago, but I know Reign of Shadows by Sophie Jordan's been on there for a really long time, so I'm just gonna go with this. So, yeah. And an outstanding in this would be to read a book that is translated from another language. I have a few for this, but I've chosen Sapphire Blue by Kirsten Gear, because I really want to try and get this trilogy off my shelves. This is the sequel to Ruby Red, and yeah. I'm going to try. I have other books that will fit, so just in case I don't get to that, I can get to those. For Arithmecy, the second subject, acceptable is to read a book of at least 300 pages. I have Colleen Hoover's newest book, All Your Perfects, that I just recently bought. I'm so excited. This is 305 pages, so it fits. Barely, but it fits. Exceeds Expectations is to read a book that ends on an even numbered page. I have My So-Called Bollywood Life. I believe this is, like, before the acknowledgments is, like, 280. Yeah, 280 before the acknowledgments, and then it's, like, 296 with everything else there, so it fits no matter what. And then outstanding in that is to read a book that's not a first in a series, and I have Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Carval, and I have this in audiobook, so I can listen to this as well as physically read it. So it's pretty big, but I really enjoyed the Carval audiobook, so I went out and got the Legendary one as well. Oh my god, can you tell that I'm really tired from doing this already? Okay, Astronomy, the third subject. Acceptable is to read a book with stars on the cover, and I have This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills. See, there's stars, it fits perfectly, and I've been wanting to read it, and it's a contemporary. I can get to this really quick. Oh god, they're all falling around me. I have them all in stacks. Okay, so to read a book, or Exceeds Expectations is to read a book that has the word sky in the title. I don't have anything physically, but on Scribd, there are 2 audiobooks that I could choose. Sky in the Deep by Adriana Young, I think is her name. I'm totally wrong. It's like the Viking book with an axe. Like, she's got an axe. So, that looks pretty good. And then there's Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna McGuire, which is the 3rd book in the Werewood Children series. I think that's what the series is called. The first one is Every Heart a Doorway. All of the audiobooks for that series is on Scribd. The only one that fits, of course, is Beneath the Sugar Sky. But I haven't read Down Among the Sticks and Bones yet, and I kind of want to reread Every Heart a Doorway. So I'm leaning towards Sky in the Deep. So yeah. Okay, so for outstanding is to read a book set in a different planet or world, so you can go sci-fi or fantasy with this. I went sci-fi and chose Starflight by Melissa Landers. I'm trying to branch more into sci-fi. Like, the sci-fi that I'm reading, I'm really loving the stories, but I'm not loving, like, the sci-fi part of it. Like, that's just going over my head, and I'm just, like, not really caring about that, but I need to read this. It's on my 12 to read in 2018, so I'm putting this on here anyway. The fourth subject is Care of Magical Creatures. Acceptable to read a book with an animal on the cover. I got Uprooted. This is on my Owls Magical Readathon, but I never got to it. I had books that fit for the other, or I had other books that fit for the challenge that I chose for this. And there's definitely animals, if you can see. Like, there's a falcon, some type of bird, and there's like a 3-headed dragon or something. It definitely fits. Exceeds expectations to read a book under 160 pages. I chose the first story in The Demigods and Magicians by Readathon. This is a bind-up of 3 stories. This is Percy and Annabeth from the Percy Jackson series meets the Caves from the King Chronicle series. I love both of those series, and I had thought that this could be a thing, and I just didn't think it was actually a thing. But I'm reading, what is it called? The Son of Sobek. The first story. I have it on ebook because I bought all of them separately before they came out in a bind-up. Happens to me all the time. But, yeah. So I'm reading that. It's only like 40 pages, so it's definitely under 160. The whole bind-up, though, I was hoping that the whole thing would fit, but it doesn't. It's like 180 something. So bad. Alright, so for outstanding, just read a book that includes dragons. I have Before She Ignites by N.E.W.T.S. I totally forgot that I had this, because I would have included it into my, like, dragon TBR for July, until, you know, I realized I was going to do this Owls Magical Readathon, and not actually, well, I still read all the books, yeah. I'm not going to go into it, but I forgot that I had this, and then I saw it, and I was like, oh yeah, this has got dragons in it, and I think the main character has anxiety, which I definitely have anxiety too, so I really want to read that. And I've liked what I've read by N.E.W.T.S. I loved her first book in the New Soul trilogy. Sorry, I just want to make sure that's good. I've read the first book, or I've read the whole trilogy, and I loved the first book. And the second book was pretty good, and the third book just, like, kind of pissed me off. And then her duology was okay. So I'm really hoping for good things for Before She Ignites. But I do love her co-authored stuff with Cynthia Hand and Brody Ashton. My Lady Jane and My Plain Jane, really good. So I'm expecting some good things by it. I'm hoping to love it. For Charmed, or Charms, not Charmed, the fifth subject, acceptable is to read a book with magic in it. I chose Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. It's about witches, so of course there's going to be magic. Might not be the magic that I'm familiar with. I know I've read this before, and I can't remember if there are like elemental magic or anything, but there are, like, she's a truth witch, so she can discern truth from lie. So that's a type of magic. Just going with it. I have other books that has magic in it. I could choose any of those if I really want to, but I really wanted to reread Truth Witch, so I'm going with it. Exceeds expectations to read a book with a cover that charmed you. So, a book you pretty much bought because of the cover. I rebought the first 2 books in the series because I love the covers. And that is A Torch Against the Night by Sabaa Tahir. This is the sequel to N.E.W.T.S, which I read a couple months ago. I rebought the first 2 books in the series because I really like the covers. And I didn't really love the covers from the when they first came out. So, there's an N.E.W.T.S. But yeah. I liked N.E.W.T.S. I've heard some good things about some negative things. We'll see. It's pretty big, but I'm going to try. For outstanding, to read a book you think will leave a mark. So just something you believe is important. Love, Hate, and Other Filters by Samir Ahmed. I think it has to do with like some kind I think it has to deal with terrorism in some way, and that's pretty important, so I'm going with this. It's also kind of short, and I also have an audiobook on Scribd, so pretty happy with that. The sixth subject is Defense Against the Dark Arts. Acceptable is to read a last book in a series. I chose Emerald Green by Kirsten Gear. This is the third and final book in the Ruby Red trilogy. I don't know for sure if I really want to read these books, but we're going with it anyway. The next book really fits well for this, it fits for that as well, but it also fit perfectly for this next prompt, which is exceeds expectations, is to read a book that's foiled, that like reflects or deflects, you know, for defense. That's what she went with. So it has to like have some kind of like reflection kind of thing. So Shadow Scale worked perfectly. This is the only book, and I was like, there's nothing I have for that until I picked this up, and I was like, damn, that works. I mean, it works perfectly. That's foiled, right? I don't know. I don't know exactly what a foiled book is. So, but she showed a shiny book that reflects kind of, so I'm going with it. It's by Rachel Hartman. This is the sequel and conclusion to the Seraphina duology. At least I heard this was a duology, so we're going with it. I think there's nothing else, so I'm reading Seraphina for the Alice Magic Readathon, so I can finish this duology this month. It's also huge. I'm insane. I've been saying this all video. Okay. Outstanding is to read a book with the word dark in the title or the series title. I chose Three Dark Crowns, and I just hit myself in the face. I chose Three Dark Crowns by Kendar Blake. I've been wanting to read this for a pretty long time. I've heard some good things. And this is also on my 12 to read in 2018. Might as well get this done. Yeah, it works perfectly. The next book I also have also has dark in the title. That would fit for that too. But it also fits for the first in divination. Acceptable is to read a book set in the future, Dark and Death by J.D. Robb. It's set in like the 2050s. It's set in the future. It's like sci-fi meets like crime and SVU and all that, and yeah, I love the series so much. This book comes out in mass market paperback, I think at the end of July, like the very end of July, so I probably picked that up for that. I don't think I'm going to read this like copy, but who knows. For Exceeds Expectations and Divination, to read a book under 200 pages. This was so hard. Technically, I could have picked that bind up of the Percy Jackson meets the Canes or whatever, because that's like 186, but I didn't. And I don't really have anything else that fits for the 160, so I went with Everyone's Getting Married. This is a manga. It's by Izumi Miyazono. Just a cute manga that I saw, and there's no freaking... Okay, this annoys me, but there's no page numbers anywhere in this book. It doesn't tell you how long this book is, so I had to go on Goodreads. It's 198. It fits. Let's see. Outstanding in this is to read a book, a mythology, a mythological book, and I chose Circe by Madeline Miller. This follows Circe from mythology, the first witch. I'm excited. I really want to read this. This is the third and final book from the book of the month that I got in the month of June that I have yet to read. I read the other two and loved them. I gave them both 5 out of 5 stars, so this could also be 5 out of 5 stars. Who knows? So I want to try and read it. For herbology, that's the eighth subject. For acceptable, to read a book with green on the cover. Foolish Hearts by Emma Mills has some green on it, and I really want to try and read Emma Mills. It's contemporary, it'll work. Exceeds expectations to read a book with illustrations. Another manga I have is The Heiress and the Chauffeur by Keiko Ishihara. Another cute manga, and this says part 1 of 2 on the back, So who knows? This could only be a 2-part manga, and that would be really, really easy to just get the last one. I would like that. Let's see. For outstanding for this is to read a book with one of 4 words on the title. So the 4 words are light, air, sun, or water. You have to pick one of those words, has to be in the book you pick, like in the title of the book you pick. I have nothing that fits that. At least that's on my TBR. A Conjuring of Light is the only one that fits that. And I don't really want to reread Conjuring of Light until I reread the first 2 in the series. I mean, that's the 3rd and final book in the trilogy. And I would like to read the first 2 first. So I'm not really going to choose that one. I don't have anything else. Nothing. I'm like, nothing. I keep looking, and I just don't have anything that has one of those 4 words. So I'm going to have to, like, find something, like, go to the store and look, or maybe, hopefully go to the library. That would be nice. But I probably won't have a library card to the end of August, so that might not work. So I'll try and go to the store and see if I can find something short that has one of those words, but no promises. Might not get to that. So for the 9th subject is History of Magic. Read or pick a book that you think would fit in the Hogwarts library. Anything that you think would fit. I'm just gonna go with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Why wouldn't it have its own, its copies of its own place and everything? It just fits for me. Why wouldn't they want books that feature themselves? So I'm going with it. I also want to get the new editions. Like, I really want to get the new editions. So I think I might pick up the first new edition. Like, I love these, but I don't like how this is formatted. I don't like it, and I don't want to break the spines. So I think I might just pick up the new editions. I'm not sure, but if I do, I'll pick up the first book and read that for this challenge. Alright. For Exceeds Expectations, a book published at least 5 years ago. Lyrial by Garth Nix works. This is the sequel to Sabriel, which I read for the Owl's Magical Readathon. I didn't love it. I was very disappointed by it, but I've heard better things about this, and I've heard it follows different characters, and there's a library, so it's also pretty big. Like, Sabriel was pretty short, but I do have the ebook copy on Scribd, so... And Abortion comes out the 1st of August, I believe, on Scribd for ebook, so I might read all of them. Who knows? Let's see. Outstanding for this is to read a book of at least 400 pages. I choose Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I can't talk. Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. This has over 500. That'll work. And I really want to read it. Oh my god. I have so many books surrounding me. We're almost done. Alright, so for Muggle Studies, which is the 10th subject, acceptable is to read a book by one of your favorite authors. I chose Catwoman by Sarah J. Maas. It's not out yet, but Sarah J. Maas is one of my all-time favorite authors. I'm so excited for that book. And it comes out like the beginning of August, and I want to read that next month. So I need to fit it somewhere, and it's perfect. For Exceeds Expectations, just to read a biography. I don't have anything for this. Again, I might go to the store or look online for something. I checked Scribd for anything that I would like to read. I might find something, but I'm not entirely sure. And then Outstanding, the last one, is to read a retelling. I chose Sea Witch for this. Also, it's not out yet. It's coming out at the end of July. I don't remember who the author is for this, but it's an Ursula retelling, and it sounds really good, and I also want to read that next month, so I chose it. For the 11th subject, that's potions. Read a book that has a name, or has, a color in the title, like the name of a color in the title, so red, green, whatever. I chose The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. Red. It fits. I've been really, really wanting to reread this book. This is the first in the Kane Chronicle trilogy. Yeah, I love the Kanes. I really want to read them, so I've decided to reread this trilogy this year, and I'm going to start with The Red Pyramid, because it fits perfectly. Exceeds Expectations to read a book with a male lead character. I chose Scythe for this by Neil Shusterman. Neil Shusterman or Neil Shusterman? Neil Shusterman. This is a dual main character, or there's dual main characters. One's Citra and one's Rowan. Citra, I believe, is a female. Rowan's a male. I looked at this for I needed to find proof of that because it doesn't say it on the back. But I do believe when they feature Rowan, yeah, him is. So Rowan's a guy and he's the main character in this. So we're going with it. And I really want to read that for Owls and I didn't. So it fits perfectly for this. And then outstanding for this is to read a book over 350 pages long. I chose The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X. Dorpan. This is 460, so it's perfect, and I've been wanting to read it. It's contemporary. It might take me just a little bit. It probably won't take me as long as a fantasy would, but it's still pretty big. I still really want to read it. Okay, last subject. We're only 25 minutes in. I could try and do this within 30 minutes. Let's see. So the last subject is Transfiguration. The first acceptable is to read a book with a great cover. You tell me. This looks great to me. It's Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kann. Or Claire Kann. I don't know exactly. You tell me if this looks gray to you. It's sort of white, but that seems gray to me. And so I'm cheating. I don't really have anything else gray. So I'm cheating and I'm choosing that. And it's short. I really want to read it. Okay, the last two. Alright. Exceeds expectations to read a book by an author you've never read. I've never read anything by Robin Schneider, so Invisible Ghosts would be perfect. And I think this is a ghost rom-com and it sounds really good, so I'm going with it. And then the last book, and the last prompt, is to read a book set in a kingdom or just has royals in it. I don't know for sure if I'm going to read this book for it, because I've just heard really, really bad things that I kind of just want to unhaul the entire series. But that's Crystal Storm by Morgan Rhodes. This is the 5th book. There's only this one in Immortal Reign, which is the 6th. I've heard really crappy things about both of them, but I've been really just wanting to finish the series. I'm almost done. And then I have the spin-off as well to read, so we're going with it. And that's it. That's it. Okay. It's not as long as I thought, because I thought this would be over 30 minutes. So I'm going to try and end this before it hits 30. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it was very long. I did explain that this would be pretty long. But yeah, this is my N.E.W.T.S TBR. Okay, you really think I'm going to be able to do it? Let me know in the comments if you think if I would be able to do this. Let me know if you think you would be able to do it. Let me know how many you think you'd be able to read. That would be, how many books you think you'd be able to read within this? Be nice to know. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you again in another video. Bye. Happy reading.